Alright guys, I'm back with a Fujitsu T5010. Or actually not back, have a LCD we got to replace. This has a line down this side of the LCD, so we're going to replace that. To remove the LCD, we have to remove the bezel. And to remove the bezel, we have two rubber covers on the screws there. There are a total of 7 screws, and 5 of them are under these little stickers, 2 on either side of the Fujitsu logo, 3 on the top. So just carefully pop these off. I like to reuse them, so I'm very careful when I remove these, not to damage them too much. Okay, taking off the last one there. So now we remove the screws. These are all the same size, so we don't have to worry about mixing them up. Okay, last one. That was number 0 Phillips head screwdriver. Now I'm going to use my nylon pry tool. I'm going to get on the side of the bezel. Just going to lightly work it until it goes in. Just run it along and you'll hear it pop. Then I spin it and do the top. I'm putting very light pressure going inward pressure to pop those clips that hold it, to break those loose. Okay, now we have to disconnect the bezel. Yours will have black plastic here on the button on the board for the scroll sensor. So I just can use your fingers to remove that. Set your LCD bezel aside. Okay, now we have to remove the LCD. The LCD is held in, I think, by 2 screws. Actually, we have to remove 3. We have a let me see if I can. Okay, we have the fingerprint reader. We have to remove the screw that holds that one. Just leave that plugged in. Put that screw aside, and we have 2 screws on either side on the bracket that runs alongside the LCD. Just set those screws aside. Okay, once we have those off, we can go ahead and just lift the LCD. Be very careful because there are cables and wires attached to it. So, all right, let me zoom out. Now that we have that off, okay, I'm going to push this towards you. There's scotch tape holding the connector to your digitizer. Okay, so to remove that, we're just going to grab a hold of both sides of the connector and gently wiggle it out. And now we have the video cable that's on the bottom here. We're just going to, same thing, gently wiggle that out. Once we get that out, we've got the LCD completely off.
So we're going about it in several ways. One of the most significant directions we're going is to reduce the number of stock.
Okay, now that we have that off, we can move the unit to the side. We're going to be working on this LCD here. And now we're going to remove, it'll be 3 screws. Let's see if this will, nope, it's got to be done by hand. Alright. 3 screws. They're small screws, and these just hold these brackets. And the brackets are labeled with an R for right and an L for left. And then they have an arrow pointing upwards to the way that it's got to sit on the LCD itself. Alright, now we have those 6 screws off. We put those brackets aside. Even though it's a bad screen, I like to put a shop towel down. Okay, now we have these pieces of black tape that we have to remove. And then this silver line, the silver lining here is your digitizer. Okay, so we don't want to bend it or tweak it too much because it'll mess up the points, and we don't want to do that. So just go around and remove the black plastic here, or the black tape. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt, and sometimes it's easier than others. Okay. Alright, 2 more strips of tape to go. Maybe 3, I'm not sure.
In New York City, as part of the effort to deal with the fact that the department lost over 6,000 officers over
My goodness, this one's a real pain in the butt here. Alright, got the last one. Okay, let's see if we can pick this up. Okay, so there's another, this black piece of tape here holds it in. Just remove that. And now we can stick our metal pry tool under there, and then without bending it, just slide the digitizer out. Now we have this part here. I believe that's pretty much it. I think we've gotten it all out. Let me pause it and I'll go get the other LCD that we're going to be using. Alright, so I got the other LCD. This is a used LCD. Okay, so I'm just going to flip it over. Now we're going to slide our digitizer in. And there are little slots that it has to sit flush against. Okay, so we have to make sure that we get those on there. And now, to tape it back on, I'm using Kapton tape. It's a heat-resistant tape. Alright. Now we have to make sure that this is perfectly aligned. I'm just going to put 5 pieces of tape on this one. Even a green signal going into a walk sign for pedestrians. So it requires an extra degree of caution as you're making right turns, and then speed and just rotate this. As a factor in a lot of accidents, serious accidents here in New York City. We're speaking with Bill Bratton, New York City's new police commissioner. A lot more to talk about, including the debate over whether we're giving up too much privacy in the name of security. Okay. This is here and now. And then one on the opposite side here. Okay, so those are staggered. Then I'm going to put one holding this piece down like this. And maybe I'll do these 2 little flaps here just to hold it all down nice and flat.
In Michigan, 1 in 4 kids is growing up in poverty.
Okay.
Michigan Radio's State of Opportunity project has been looking at the opportunities and challenges kids in Michigan.
All right, so now we have to put our brackets back on.
The State of Opportunity section on our website.
Okay, so again, this has the arrow that shows what way it's supposed to point. Okay, so let's grab this. Grab one of the screws. Goes up. So we'll just place it like this and hold it, line it up with the screw hole here. Get that one, and then I'm going to do the bottom one. And then finish it off with the middle screw here. And then do the same thing for the left side.
New York City's Police Department. Before the break, we were talking about Mayor Bill de Blasio's new initiative to reduce traffic accidents in the city.
And then don't do what I did. Don't tighten them all the way down, that in case you have to adjust your bracket. Then you can go ahead and slide it without it falling off. And then you just finish them off. Okay? So now let's bring the unit. Okay. Let's go ahead and plug in our video. There's our video. And then let's plug in our digitizer. Alright, so now we're just plugging in the digitizer here. Okay. Before I put the tape on it and get it all nice and done, let's plug it in. Okay. And then we'll turn it on.
We're experiencing a decrease in fatality, which is a good sign to start the year off with.
Commissioner Brett, I've lived in all of the cities that you have been police commissioner in, and I have to say that when you look at...
Okay, this looks like a good LCD. I'm going to get into the BIOS here. I want to make sure that there's no line in it. Just bear with me. I'm going to do this on camera here. Just slide it on. Turn it on. Get on my F2 key. And it should be posting. Okay, and then I hit to get into the BIOS. And as you can see, there's no lines on it. So we now have successfully replaced an LCD with a line for a good one. So unplug that. Okay, and now we have to apply some tape to the connections, because it's always good to have tape on your connections for your video cable, your digitizer cable, etc. Any connections you have. It just keeps them nice and snug and keep them from coming loose. So I just put one there. Put one there. And then we just lay this back down. And then we can just reattach the two screws. Okay. So we'll do the last one for your bracket there. Now we got to put our screw for our fingerprint reader. And that just kind of sits in there. It has a little nipple that an alignment to post. Put that on there. And now we clean it. I use a microfiber cloth and no pressure at all. Just gently work it around. No pressure whatsoever. I'm just gliding it.
So it's a city where the visibility of police is much less apparent.
If there's like a fingerprint like mine, you can just blow blow air on it, some warm air, and then just work it out. Okay, and then just
No, there is no one size fits all. It's a combination of things. Much the same as a doctor looking at patients.
okay. Now that we have that done,
How much medicine you use for what illness.
we'll wipe down the
Good mayors and good police chiefs come into
LCD bezel.
what is the appropriate level.
Mine is all smudged up,
What is the appropriate activities to
so
engage in.
I'm gonna try to work that out of there.
Is to get
Again, hardly any pressure.
trust and
Just using some hot air from my mouth, just blowing some hot air on it. And then before you attach this, you can always lay this directly on top of your LCD just to verify that you have your fingerprints or any dust out of it by just laying it like that, tilting it, and then you'll be able to see where you have smudges. And I still have smudges on this side and then along the bottom, so okay, just keep cleaning it. I'm gonna pause it while I clean this, and I'll be right back. Alright, just I finished cleaning the LCD bezel, the glass on it, and then just wiping the dust that landed on the LCD while I was cleaning that.
There is a need to have some degree of
Just go very gentle, try not to move too much and not stir up a lot of dirt
within the law
and dust.
outside the law.
Some of us are not lucky enough to have a clean room. We don't have one here, so just plug in your, you want to plug your LCD bezel back, that scroll sensor, plug that back in, and just gently, if you see any dust, grab your microfiber cloth again and then just gently wipe it off.
I thought you would say the weather, but fair enough.
No, I like the 4 seasons. As long as I don't have to shovel it, I'm very happy back here in the East
Okay, and then
Coast.
just
Bill Bratton,
gently
Police Commissioner for New York City. Thank you so much.
bring
for
it
joining us.
down,
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
So that I guess that means that the commissioner
push down.
he gets somebody to shovel the snow for him. He's Joseph Fujitsu. Well, a lot there to talk about. You can weigh in.
Okay.
donow.org. What do you think of Stop, Question, and Frisk? And do you think
Alright,
it's possible
so now,
for New Yorkers to
again, let's double check that. Let's turn it on just to make sure nothing happened, nothing funky happened while we were putting it back together.
this is here and now.
Now while this is happening, I'm gonna start putting my screws back in. So
Good afternoon. This is Michigan Radio.
just replace your screws.
Side with Cynthia Canty brings you interviews and reports about
LCD looks good, nice and bright.
and policy issues. Listen this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Funding for Here and Now comes from Brigham and Women's Hospital, home to research on how aspirin can prevent heart attacks and other diseases.
Booting into Windows Vista.
Video at brighamandwomens.org/aspirin. Brigham and Women's
I don't like Vista, that's what they came loaded with, so
breakthroughs.
that's what we have on them.
With web-based brain games created by neuroscientists.
Okay,
to
pop
improve
that.
memory and attention. Learn more at lumosity.com.
That. And then we just start replacing our covers. If your covers don't stay sticky, the glue,
Donate your used car, truck, or motorcycle to support Michigan Radio. Find
like
out
these
more on
square ones are not
radio.org/cars.
sticky anymore.
In weather for the rest of the day,
Just changing the tablet mode.
in West Michigan, snow likely.
Okay, I just put a little bit of hot air, just quick,
West Michigan could have 1 to 2
just reactivate the stickiness of that adhesive.
5 above, and wind and chills down to 10 below tonight. Mostly cloudy, again, snow likely in
Okay, and there you have it. As you can see, there's a
and just a chance of snow elsewhere.
nice bright LCD,
10 to 15.
no line running down it,
This is Michigan Radio.
works great.
2:30.
Well, hope this helped. This was the LCD replacement on a T5010 Fujitsu Lifebook. Hope this helped. Like, comment, subscribe if you like. Any questions, leave them in the comment area below. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.